Another one of my favorite things about it is you feel like you're making a difference. Like, you don't feel like, because sometimes in like the real world you feel like you're just, you know, living your life, but in here you're like making a difference, you're a hero.
It's a role-playing game, so there are dice involved and there's a world involved.
It's like a choose your own adventure with math and someone who's making a really good story out of your choices.
It's just really cool how we've created this whole world and how it's so detailed with all the culture. It feels like it's a real place.
I think my favorite thing is the shared adventure.
It's almost like your favorite book or like a movie. It's like you want to know what's going to happen next.
My name is Becky Thomas. I'm the director of the Roleplay Workshop, which is an after-school and summer program for teens. We use an interactive storytelling game to help kids grow up. Back in 1988, 1989, I was teaching at a school called Archway School. Was the single teacher for a combined 6th, 7th, and 8th grade class. I'd been playing role-playing games with friends and was phenomenally dissatisfied with some of them, so I started to write one. I would work on it during study hall while they were working on their project. So I'd be making my world, figuring out the people, writing stuff up, and they caught me doing it, and they wanted to know what it was, and they wanted to play it. I asked the principal if I could, because it would be a good opportunity for them to practice math skills and other things, because there's a lot of educational elements in the game. Got permission, and the kids played it. Kids loved it, and then one of the parents said that their kid loved it so much they wanted to do it for summer camp, and I was like, what? And after a couple of years, I discovered I was having more fun, bigger impact, and better income than I was getting teaching in the classroom. And so I stopped teaching and started doing it full time.
It sounded exciting and very suitable for David, and so we
it was a really perfect fit.
Yeah, we
really
plugged him in, and
it was just like a lock and a key.
Yeah,
just totally worked.
He's been all lit up ever since.
I just like the idea of, you know, being in Abantey and, you know, being this other person who's going around and just, you know, helping people and going on various adventures.
The other joy is that it turns out that in playing a role-playing game, there are so many things that can be educational, that can be learning tools.
There was actually some math skills that I learned. We did a lot of unit conversions in Abantey, and then when I got to like one of my first classes in high school, and they're like, we're gonna need to teach you unit conversion, and like, oh, I know this already.
I was taking pre-calc and I still was having trouble with some of the stuff Becky had me doing, so like, it's kind of, it was good to have those basics, like, but actually learning them. And also just coming out of my shell, because I was very quiet when I started and Becky didn't really let me just sit there quietly in the corner. I was forced to talk to other people and participate. That was really helpful.
Abantey teaches life skills. Some of them you don't initially realize that they're life skills, but then you're just, you know, sitting there and something happens and you're like, hey, this happened in a mission once. It was just slightly different and a little bit put my character in more danger than I am in right now, but hey, I can get out of this the same way my character did, just less extreme.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer in October of 2010. I wasn't so freaked out about the cancer. Breast cancer has a high survivability, and if I'm going to have cancer and die, then I'm going to have cancer and die. My biggest concern was just money. I constantly worry about my ability to keep doing what I'm doing. Kids are changing. I'm changing. How relevant am I to kids today?
So before I started Abantey, I was rather self-conscious about being a nerd and liking nerdy things and liking school. And I definitely like came into that and saw like there's all these other people who love what they're doing, and like it's okay to just be passionate about what you're doing. that definitely makes it a lot easier to do anything in general, but like I'm in grad school and it's like pretty nerdy. You're not like, you've got a bunch of science nerds who are talking about rocks and like, I'm not embarrassed about that at all. I feel like younger me would have not wanted to admit it. Sometimes she'll come up in conversation now with someone and I'll be like, oh yeah, my mentor. And that's how I refer to her, because I feel like Becky really helped me become like who I am. So I look up to her a lot.
One of my earliest dreams was to become a writer. And my dad told me, you can't be a writer. That's a ridiculous profession. Nobody makes a living as a writer. Stop thinking about being a writer. Abantey is about creating. I am a writer. I've created a whole world. I'm constantly creating stories. That act of creating something is something that I wouldn't have gotten in another profession. We all role play all the time, depending upon what our role is and what our tasks are. I am very good at the role of being a person who is enduring much. The role of being tough. But it doesn't feel as much of a role as some of the other roles that I put on. What I'm doing, working with kids and creating these stories, is helping them. It gives people something. Whatever that gestalt of stuff is that we give people, when I can't do it anymore, who's going to give it to people? Who's going to help people discover it?